Okay, so you know how our immune systems are amazing usually at fighting off all kinds of stuff?
Right.
Well, imagine those defenses getting, I don't know, kind of tired.
Oh, interesting.
That's the idea behind T-cell exhaustion, and it's something we're going to deep dive into today, especially in severe COVID-19. And you found some fascinating research on this.
Yeah, it's a really hot topic right now. This study from Gene Reports caught my eye because they took a hard look at immune cells,
Okay.
specifically from people hospitalized with really bad COVID, and compared them to folks with milder cases.
So it's like comparing those marathon runners who hit the wall at mile 20
Right.
versus the ones who just breeze right through.
Yeah, exactly. And what I love about this study is it's not just some lab experiment.
Right.
This was real-world data from actual patients.
That real world element is so cool. So what were they zeroing in on?
Well, they were like detectives, focusing on these tiny molecules on the surface of T cells.
Okay.
They're called co-inhibitory receptors, and basically they're like brakes for the immune system.
Breaks?
Yeah, they make sure it doesn't go into overdrive and start attacking healthy cells.
Ah, like a control system so it doesn't overdo it.
Exactly.
Makes sense. You don't want your immune system going off all the time for no reason. But what'd they find with these severe COVID patients? Were their brakes, like, broken?
That is a great question. And what they found was that in the severe cases, these co-inhibitory receptor levels were way higher.
Really?
Significantly higher. And we're not talking about a slight increase. These were dramatically different.
Wow.
It's like their brakes were jammed, preventing the T cells from working the way they should.
Oh, wow. So instead of fighting the virus, their immune system is slamming on the brakes.
Kind of, yeah.
No wonder it can be so serious. This must have been a huge aha moment for these researchers.
Absolutely. It points to a really critical imbalance in severe COVID. The immune system isn't just fighting a virus, it's stuck in overdrive.
And it causes more problems on its own.
Exactly. And this research actually gives us some of the first concrete evidence of what's going on at the molecular level.
That is incredible. But if these receptors are already so high, could they actually be the cause of this severe reaction in the first place?
That is the million-dollar question. And honestly, this study doesn't give us a definite answer. This is just a snapshot in time. It could be that these high levels are a consequence of the severe inflammation already happening. More research is needed to know for sure.
So it's that whole chicken or egg thing again.
Exactly.
But we at least know that these molecules are involved, right?
Oh, absolutely. And these aren't just some random molecules. They have names like TIM3, LAG3, PD1.
Catchy.
And scientists are very interested in figuring out if we can target these with therapies.
So if these are like the parking brake on the immune system,
Yeah,
are we talking about treatments that could release the brakes in severe COVID?
you got it.
Yeah.
That's the cutting-edge research this paves the way for sure. This study is giving us a much clearer target for new treatments, potentially.
It's kind of mind-blowing, really, thinking about messing with these tiny molecules to help fight something as serious as COVID.
It really is amazing. And the thing is, this research, it goes way beyond just one virus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, T-cell exhaustion, it's a big deal in a whole bunch of diseases, especially when you think about cancer.
Right. I'd heard about that connection. So what we're learning about T-cell exhaustion in COVID, it could actually help us deal with cancer better.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Cancer cells, they're sneaky.
Yeah.
They've figured out ways to, like, hide from the immune system, even shut down its attacks.
Wow.
And just like with severe COVID, those T cells, they're constantly bombarded by these signals from the tumor,
Right.
and they start to get worn down, exhausted. They're not as good at fighting off the threat.
So it's like the cancer cells are creating all these distractions, just wearing down the immune system until it just, I don't know, gives up.
That is a perfect way to put it.
Wow.
And over time, these tired T cells, they can't really recognize and get rid of those cancer cells as well,
Right.
which makes treating cancer even harder.
That makes a lot of sense, but it sounds like, I don't know, kind of a dead end.
Yeah.
If the T cells are already wiped out, how do you even fix that?
That's where things get really exciting, actually.
Yeah.
This whole deep dive into T-cell exhaustion, understanding those brake molecules we talked about,
Right.
it's opened the door for a whole new kind of cancer treatment.
Okay.
It's called immunotherapy.
Immunotherapy, right. I've heard that term, but I always thought it was, I don't know, kind of science fiction-y.
It sounds futuristic, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely cutting edge, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Basically, it's like giving your own immune system a super boost, helping it zero in on those cancer cells and destroy them.
So it's way better than, like, chemo then. No offense to chemo or anything.
Well, that's the hope. But how does it even work?
Yeah, do they, like, zap your immune system with something?
It's more strategic than that.
Okay.
One of the most promising types is called immune checkpoint blockade.
Okay.
Remember those brake molecules, the co-inhibitory receptors?
Yeah, yeah.
This therapy, it targets those directly.
Wait, so it's literally like cutting the brake lines on the T cells?
Not literally, no.
Okay, good, good.
But I like how you think,
Yeah.
essentially, by blocking those inhibitory signals,
Okay.
these therapies release the brakes, the T cells wake up and can go after the cancer cells much more effectively.
That's incredible. It's like hitting the reset button.
Kind of, yeah. And the exciting part, these checkpoint inhibitors, they're already being used to treat certain types of cancers pretty successfully. Melanoma, lung cancer, lymphoma.
Wow.
We're talking serious breakthroughs.
That is incredible. We started with T cells being wiped out, and now we're talking about curing cancer.
It's remarkable.
This is amazing.
And it really highlights how everything in the body is connected.
It does.
And it shows how one scientific discovery can lead to breakthroughs in other areas,
Right.
which is why we need to support research across the board.
I'm with you 100%. This is giving me so much to think about already. And we haven't even gotten to the listener question. This just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So before we took a break, you mentioned a listener question. Something about T-cell exhaustion.
Right.
But like beyond just cancer and infections.
Exactly. They're really curious about the long-term effects of severe COVID on the immune system.
Oh, okay.
Like, could going through something that intense have lasting impacts, even after you've recovered from the initial illness?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, it makes sense. Like, after a marathon, you can't just jump into another one the next day.
Exactly. Your body needs time to bounce back.
Right. So does the same thing happen to your immune system after it's been through something huge, like severe COVID?
That's what researchers are trying to figure out right now.
Okay.
There's this growing concern that some people who had severe COVID might be more vulnerable to other health issues down the road,
Really?
potentially because their immune system is still feeling the effects.
So even when the virus is long gone, there could be this, like, immune hangover.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Think about it. Your immune system just went through this massive battle. It makes sense that it would need a while to get back to its full strength.
That makes me wonder, is there anything people can do to, I don't know, kind of help their immune system out after something like that?
That's the million-dollar question. And of course, more research is always needed.
Of course.
But there are definitely things you can do to support a healthy immune system in general.
Okay. Well, give us the rundown. What should people focus on?
Well, it's nothing too groundbreaking.
Okay.
A balanced diet is key, of course. Regular exercise is huge, making sure you're getting enough sleep, and finding ways to manage stress.
So just those good, basic, healthy habits we always hear about.
Exactly. All those things contribute to your overall health.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is how well your immune system functions.
It's a good reminder that taking care of ourselves is super important, especially after our bodies have been through the ringer.
Couldn't agree more.
Wow, we covered a ton of ground today, from those tiny T-cell details to, like, the future of cancer treatment.
It's amazing how much research is out there.
It really is. And hopefully, for our listeners, this has given you a better grasp on T-cell exhaustion and why it's so important.
Absolutely.
It's complicated stuff, but we at least dipped our toes into why it matters.
Yeah.
And not just for understanding severe COVID, but for medicine as a whole.
Well said.
So, until next time, everyone, keep those brains buzzing and those questions coming.